Hey, welcome to a new video. Jules Verne's novel From the Earth to the Moon, published in 1865, is often praised for its remarkable foresight into space travel. Written long before modern rocketry, Verne's story contains striking similarities to our current understanding of space exploration. He envisioned a giant cannon called the Columbiad, which would launch a projectile carrying astronauts to the moon. This concept of using a large cannon to send a spacecraft into space resembles early rocket designs. In the story, a crew of 3 embarks on this lunar journey, a detail that closely mirrors the Apollo missions more than a century later. Verne also speculated about how the crew would survive the intense conditions of space travel, such as the effects of acceleration during launch. While his explanations were not scientifically accurate, they showed a remarkable attempt to address the challenges of spaceflight. In the sequel, Around the Moon, Verne imagined the spacecraft would land in the ocean upon return, an idea that closely aligns with the actual splashdowns of the Apollo missions. Beyond space travel, he also predicted advancements in media, such as daily spoken news bulletins, which foreshadowed modern news broadcasts and podcasts.
Are you new to this channel? Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And before we start, also like the video.
Warren Buffett, the renowned investor and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, is known for his cautious approach to technology stocks, especially during the dot-com bubble of the late 1990s. His reluctance to invest in tech companies stemmed from key beliefs and observations about market dynamics at the time. Buffett believed that many tech stocks were vastly overvalued during the dot-com bubble. He frequently expressed skepticism about the sustainability of rapid growth rates and the high valuations characteristic of the technology sector. This cautious stance led to Berkshire Hathaway significantly underperforming compared to the soaring Nasdaq index, which was heavily weighted with tech stocks. During the bubble, Buffett warned that most internet startups would fail, much like the early automobile and aviation industries, where many companies went bankrupt. Interestingly, Buffett's stance on tech stocks evolved over time. While he initially avoided them, he later acknowledged the importance of certain technology companies, making significant investments in Apple. An Oklahoma man, Brandon Dale Biggs, made a chilling prediction about an attack on Donald Trump nearly a month before it happened. In a podcast recorded on March 14, 2024, he claimed that a vision from God had shown him that Trump would be targeted, and that a bullet would nearly miss him. During an interview with a pastor, Brandon described seeing a bullet pass so close to Trump's head that it ruptured his eardrum. He also saw Trump falling to his knees and worshiping the Lord. On July 13th, during a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, Trump was indeed struck in his right ear. Following the incident, Brandon saw a transformed Trump, claiming he would become truly on fire for Jesus after such a near-death experience. He also stated that God had told him America was not yet ready and predicted a patriotic resurgence, leading to a red wave from Michigan. Finally, he foresaw Trump's victory in the November election and the return of Jesus. Morgan Robertson was an American author best known for his novella Futility, published in 1898. However, it was later revised in 1912 under the title The Wreck of the Titan. The story follows a fictional British ocean liner called Titan, deemed unsinkable, which tragically sinks after striking an iceberg in the North Atlantic. This eerie similarity to the sinking of the RMS Titanic in 1912 led to speculation about Robertson's prophetic abilities, especially regarding maritime disasters. Both ships were among the largest of their time and built for speed. Titan was 800 feet or 244 meters long, while the Titanic was slightly longer at 883 feet or 269 meters long. Both embarked on their maiden voyages with high expectations, but soon met disaster. Titan sank in April, just like the Titanic. Both ships also lacked enough lifeboats, a crucial factor in the high death toll. Additionally, like the Titanic, the Titan carried many wealthy passengers. After the Titanic disaster, many saw Robertson's detailed account as a form of clairvoyance, though he himself denied any supernatural abilities. George Orwell's 1984, published in 1949, serves as a chilling warning about the potential for totalitarianism and government control in society. The novel depicts a dystopian future where the state exercises extreme control over its citizens through surveillance, propaganda, and manipulation of truth. Orwell envisioned a world where the government constantly monitors its people using devices like telescreens, which function as both communication tools and surveillance equipment. This concept is increasingly relevant today, as smartphones and other tech enable widespread monitoring by governments and corporations. A key theme in 1984 is the use of language as a tool for control. The government employs newspeak, a language designed to limit free thought and expression. This manipulation of language to shape public perception and suppress dissent is reflected in modern debates over political correctness and euphemisms. The idea of memory holes, where inconvenient truths from history are erased, illustrates how totalitarian regimes can rewrite the past to maintain their narrative. Orwell's portrayal of a society where individuals are reduced to cogs in a bureaucratic machine highlights the dangers of dehumanization. 1984 demonstrates how propaganda is used to control people's perception of reality. Do you think we live in a society similar to 1984 today? Let me know in the comments.
What Nostradamus foresaw in our future was an Earth parched dry, dramatic floods, waves of pestilence, famine, tsunamis, and more. He wrote about this particular aspect of the Earth's state, saying the dry Earth will dry out even more, and there will be great floods when this is seen. He didn't specify where these catastrophic floods would occur, but he became somewhat more specific about what the tsunamis would devastate. Additionally, Nostradamus warned of a very great famine due to waves of pestilence, which could be interpreted as tsunamis devastating agriculture and leading to disease and widespread famine. Given the accuracy of his predictions in the past, there's a possibility we might experience even more destructive climate disasters than we have already witnessed.
Nikola Tesla was a groundbreaking inventor and engineer whose work laid the foundation for modern wireless tech. His experiments in the late 19th and early 20th centuries focused on transmitting energy and information without wires, an idea far ahead of its time. In the early 1890s, Tesla began experimenting with electromagnetic wave and wireless transmission. Inspired by Heinrich Hertz's work with radio waves, he aimed to develop a system that could transfer electrical energy over long distances without wires. Tesla envisioned a world wireless system capable of transmitting both power and communication signals globally. His foresight extended to predicting the future of personal communication devices. In a 1926 interview, he described a vision of a small, portable device that would allow people to communicate instantly, regardless of their distance. He imagined a pocket-sized device capable of sending audio and video messages, eerily similar to modern smartphones. Critics argued that Tesla underestimated the energy losses involved in transmitting power over long distances, and misunderstood some fundamental physics. However, his work is now recognized as foundational to the development of wireless tech. His ideas on wireless communication and power transmission continue to inspire modern innovations, including advances in wireless charging and 5G networks.
Nostradamus also made several disturbing predictions about the future of technology and warfare. He envisioned a world where advanced weapons and cyber attacks would wreak havoc and plunge nations into chaos. These events could potentially lead to a conflict between humans and machines, painting a bleak picture of the future. While his predictions had not all come to pass yet, they serve as a serious reminder of the potential consequences of unchecked technological advancement. In today's world, where technology continues to evolve at a rapid pace, it's crucial to consider these warnings and approach progress with caution. Advances in tech have brought countless benefits and improvements to our lives. However, it's essential to consider the long-term consequences of our actions. His predictions serve as a cautionary tale to urge us to show responsibility and foresight when embracing new tech.
Arthur C. Clarke, a renowned science fiction writer and futurist, is often credited as the pioneer of the concept of satellite communication. In 1945, he published a groundbreaking article in Wireless World magazine, proposing the use of geostationary satellites for global communication. This idea was revolutionary at the time, as it was introduced shortly after World War II. Clarke suggested placing satellites in geostationary orbit, allowing them to remain fixed above a specific point on Earth's surface. This orbit, approximately 22,370 miles, or 36,000 kilometers above the equator, was later named the Clarke Belt by the International Astronomical Union in his honor. His vision involved a network of 3 satellites arranged in a triangular formation around the Earth to provide continuous communication coverage. His ideas laid the foundation for the development of modern satellite communication systems. The first successful geostationary communications satellite, SYNCOM-3, was launched in 1964 and was used to broadcast the Tokyo Olympics to the United States. Clarke's work has had a lasting impact on telecommunications, and he's often referred to as the father of the communications satellite.
One of the least predictable natural disasters is earthquakes, whose effects can range from a minor ripple under your feet to a colossal force driving oceans into cities, and Nostradamus predicted one with chilling detail. 500 years ago, he specifically mentioned a cataclysmic earthquake off the coast of Japan, which would cause a devastating tsunami, resulting in the destruction of homes and the loss of hundreds of lives. A prediction from Nostradamus foresees an earthquake off the coast of Japan of gigantic proportions. The Japan Meteorological Agency reports frequent multiple quakes in the region, one of which had a magnitude of 7.6. The waves sometimes rise to about 4 feet or 1.2 meters. The recent earthquakes and tsunami warnings issued by the authorities also reflect the potential accuracy of this prediction.
In his 2015 TED Talk titled The Next Outbreak, We're Not Ready, Bill Gates highlighted the world's vulnerability to pandemics and the urgent need to be prepared. He warned that if a highly contagious virus emerged, it could potentially kill more than 10 million people in the coming decades. Gates pointed out that global health systems were not adequately prepared to handle such crises, as evidenced by past outbreaks like Ebola and Zika. He also argued that pandemics should be taken as seriously as nuclear threats. He proposed that governments and organizations invest in scenario planning, as well as vaccine research and the training of healthcare workers to ensure an effective response to future outbreaks. His 2015 TED Talk now serves as a prophetic warning about pandemics and the necessity of being prepared. Everything he described turned out to be an accurate depiction of COVID-19, leading to conspiracy theories accusing Gates of involvement in its spread.
In recent years, the changing dynamics and growing global influence of China has raised concerns among geopolitical experts and journalists. The rise of China as a global power has led many to speculate about the possibility of a confrontation with China. This speculation is fueled by China's history of military might in regions such as the South China Sea and Taiwan, often through its naval ships. Interestingly, Nostradamus also made predictions that resemble the current situation. In one, he wrote about battle and sea fight, indicating the possibility of military confrontations at sea. Nostradamus further described a scenario where the red opponent, a reference to communist China, would be pale with fear, instilling dread in the Great Ocean, possibly referring to the Indian Ocean. These predictions, combined with China's assertive actions in the South China Sea and its growing military capabilities, have heightened concerns about China's intentions. In 2023 and 2024, China's actions have even intensified these concerns. For instance, China conducted large-scale military exercises in the South China Sea in 2023, increasing tensions in the region. These exercises, involving maritime assets and advanced weapons, were seen by many as a display of power and a demonstration of China's military capabilities. Moreover, in 2024, China continued its assertive behavior by increasing its military presence around Taiwan, a region China considers its own territory.
Paul the Octopus gained worldwide fame for his remarkable ability to predict the outcomes of football matches, particularly during the 2010 FIFA World Cup. Born on January 26, 2008, and passing away on October 26, 2010, Paul became a global sensation by correctly predicting 12 out of 14 matches, an accuracy rate of approximately 85.7%. During the 2010 World Cup, Paul accurately forecasted the results of all 7 of Germany's matches, including their third-place playoff against Uruguay in the final, where he correctly picked Spain as the winner against the Netherlands. Paul also made predictions during the 2008 UEFA European Championship, correctly guessing 4 out of Germany's 6 matches. Paul's predictions were made by choosing between 2 boxes, each marked with a flag of the competing teams. His caretakers would lower the boxes into his tank, and Paul would pick one by swimming inside, leading to speculation about the influence of flag colors or scents. Mathematically, the odds of Paul achieving such a streak of correct predictions were quite low, adding to the mystery of his abilities.
In the realm of psychic predictions, Nostradamus claimed that in the year 2024, humans would have the opportunity to make contact with extraterrestrial beings. However, contrary to the popular fear of a terrifying invasion, he suggests that this contact will occur through encrypted signals intercepted by a network of telescopes, indicating a potentially peaceful form of communication. The idea of communicating with extraterrestrial beings has long fascinated the human imagination, and advances in tech may bring us closer to this possibility. Communicating with extraterrestrial beings could provide us with new insights into science, tech, and even philosophical questions about life beyond Earth. Additionally, it could also spark a galactic war, or at least result in an invasion by extraterrestrial beings. In one of his predictions, Nostradamus foresaw that due to age, the Pope would be replaced by a younger successor. He wrote, "By the death of the very old pontifex, a Roman of good age will be elected." He further warns that this new leader will weaken his office, and will hold the position for a long time. However, the precise meaning of weaken remains open to interpretation. This raises questions about whether the Church's influence will diminish, or if a significant scandal could emerge. Only time will reveal the true implications. Pope Francis, who is nearly 87, has recently faced health issues. Notably, he missed the UN climate conference due to pneumonia and respiratory problems caused by the flu. These health issues further highlight the potential need for a successor in the near future. Nostradamus' prediction suggests that the new pope will hold the position for a long time, characterized by biting activity. The interpretation of this phrase remains unclear, leaving room for speculation about the actions and impact of the pope during their tenure. Ultimately, the selection of a new pope and their subsequent actions will determine the course of the Catholic Church.
John Elfrith Watkins Jr., a civil engineer and remarkable futurist, made several astonishing predictions about the future in his 1900 article, What May Happen in the Next 100 Years. His foresight included the emergence of technologies that later became integral to modern life, such as mobile phones and digital photography. Watkins envisioned a wireless telephone system that would allow people to communicate across the world. He predicted that individuals would be able to talk without physical connections, closely resembling the concept of mobile phones as we know them today. This concept was groundbreaking at the time when telephones were still a relatively new invention, and wireless communication seemed far-fetched. In addition to mobile phones, Watkins also predicted the development of digital photography. He foresaw technological advancements that would enable people to capture images without relying on film, an idea that aligns with modern digital cameras. His predictions even included the concept of satellite imagery, allowing for high-resolution images to be taken from space, an innovation that underpins contemporary digital photography.
There have been wild claims that one of Nostradamus' predictions foretells a disaster for Earth involving an asteroid collision. However, due to the astrological basis of Nostradamus' 942 poetic quatrains and les prophéties, it's challenging to pinpoint exact dates. Nonetheless, Nostradamus described a heavenly stone falling on Earth, followed by a great fire. Some interpret this fire as a reference to a climate disaster, such as a devastating wildfire. Nostradamus is not the only one who has suggested the possibility of an asteroid impacting Earth. Craig Hamilton Parker, also known as the new Nostradamus, has spoken about the dangers of such an event. However, Hamilton Parker believes that while the threat of an impact exists in the future, it doesn't necessarily mean the end of the world. He points out that impact events have occurred before, as evidenced by craters on the moon, and emphasizes that we live in a cosmic environment where such events are possible.
Winston Churchill's prediction about the Cold War is best encapsulated in his famous Iron Curtain speech, delivered on March 5, 1946. This speech is often regarded as a key moment that marked and foresaw the beginning of the Cold War. Churchill declared, "From Stettin in the Baltic to Trieste in the Adriatic, an Iron Curtain has descended across the continent." This metaphor described the division of Europe into Western democracies and Eastern communist states under Soviet influence. He expressed concerns about the Soviet Union's intentions and potential threat of conflict. Churchill advocated for a united front among English-speaking nations and called for a United States of Europe to promote recovery and prevent further hostilities. His speech resonated deeply and is credited with shaping the geopolitical landscape of the Cold War for the coming decades. It highlighted the ideological struggle between capitalism and communism that dominated international relations throughout the latter half of the 20th century.
Nostradamus predicted that humanity would be struck by various ailments. He mentioned a great calamity that would affect America and Lombardy, referring to regions in Italy. The passage also speaks of a fire on a ship, plague, captivity, and specific astrological placements of Mercury and Sagittarius, and the position of Saturn as a warning. The references to plague and captivity match the current global situation, but other elements of the passage also seem to correlate. The mention of the weak lists may represent the sick and deceased. Interestingly, the entry of Mercury into Sagittarius in December 2019 coincided with the first outbreak of COVID-19, while Saturn's transition into Aquarius coincided with New York City's lockdown in March. However, the prediction could also encompass an event yet to come. One of the clues is the fire on a ship and cruise ships stuck at sea due to onboard emergencies. According to Nostradamus, it's also a very deadly virus that had been dormant for 40,000 years. As melting glaciers release this virus's bacteria into the ocean, it is predicted to cause widespread deaths. It's not just about the weather, asteroid impacts, earthquakes, tsunamis, and new popes. We can also expect an economic blow. Nostradamus foresaw a global economic disaster. In one of his quatrains, he wrote, "So high will the bushel of wheat rise, that man will eat his fellow man." The world indeed faces regular economic challenges. The cost of living crisis puts pressure on individuals and families, making it difficult for some to afford basic needs. Nostradamus' description of people resorting to cannibalism due to the high price of wheat seems highly unlikely and far-fetched in this current future. Who knows what can happen next? And how frightening is that thought? It's crucial to acknowledge that the world is already struggling with ongoing conflicts that have significant economic and humanitarian consequences.
Leonardo da Vinci, a Renaissance polymath, was deeply fascinated by the concept of human flight. His studies and designs for flying machines, particularly the ornithopter, reflect his keen observations of nature and his inventive genius. Da Vinci drew inspiration from various flying creatures, particularly birds and bats. He meticulously studied their anatomy and flight patterns, leading him to create designs that mimicked their wing structures. His flying machine, with a wingspan of over 33 feet or 10 meters, was crafted from pine wood, as well as raw silk, for a lightweight yet sturdy build. In his Codex on the Flight of Birds, written around 1505 to 1506, Da Vinci documented over 35,000 words and 500 sketches related to flight. His designs often featured flexible wings similar to those of bats, which he believed could make human flight possible. His flying machine was intended to be operated manually using levers, as well as pedals and pulleys to simulate wing movement. Despite his ingenious designs, they were impractical for actual flight due to the limitations of human strength and the available materials at the time. However, Da Vinci's visionary ideas laid the groundwork for later advancements in aerodynamics and aviation.
Recent claims suggest that Nostradamus predicted a catastrophic volcanic eruption at Yellowstone. His alleged predictions, recorded in his book Les Prophéties, have fascinated theorists who have spent time interpreting and analyzing the writings of the French astrologer. According to theorists of Nostradamus, the prophet foresaw a devastating event with volcanic fire and a worldwide earthquake occurring in what he called the New City. This theory has gained attention in the past and continues to circulate online. Followers of Nostradamus believe that his verses mention a massive earthquake, specifically affecting the western area of the new city, with global repercussions. They also interpret his writings as referring to a volcanic fire emerging from the depths of the earth, resulting in tremors around the new city. However, the exact location of the new city remains a mystery. Should Yellowstone experience a volcanic eruption, it is suggested that the emission of sulfur dioxide could pose a significant threat. Additionally, more than 100,000 people could lose their lives, and large parts of the United States could become uninhabitable.
The tragic death of Princess Diana in a car accident on August 31, 1977, has sparked numerous discussion and theories about whether she predicted her own demise. Several accounts suggest that in the months leading up to her death, Diana expressed fears for her safety. One of the most striking pieces of evidence often cited in these discussions is a letter, known as the Mishkan Note. Written in October 1996, Diana voiced concerns that Prince Charles was planning something that could lead to a fatal accident. In the letter, she wrote, "My husband is planning an accident in my car, brake failure, and serious head injury, to make the path clear for him to marry Tiggy." This letter remained hidden for years and only came to light during investigations into her death. Diana also reportedly shared her fears with friends and confidants. She told her butler, Paul Burrell, that she felt there was conspiracy against her. Royal commentator Ingrid Seward noted that Diana expressed paranoia and believed she was a burden to the royal family. Beyond the Mishkan Note, Diana had a general sense of foreboding about her life. She confided in friends that she didn't believe she would live long, adding to the belief that she may have foreseen her own fate.
Buckingham Palace announced in February 2024 that the British King Charles has been diagnosed with cancer. The 75-year-old monarch will temporarily step back from public duties to undergo treatment, with the intention to fully return to his public responsibilities as soon as possible. Amid this news, predictions of Nostradamus have resurfaced, particularly regarding possible turmoil within the royal family. According to Nostradamus, he predicted that the king might abdicate, and that Prince Harry could ascend to the throne. He wrote that the king of the islands would be forced to abdicate and would be replaced by someone who did not possess the typical qualities of a monarch. British author Mario Reading, who has extensively studied the predictions of Nostradamus, has analyzed these predictions. He suggested that due to disapproval of the king's divorce and the subsequent perception of unworthiness, the people would force him out of power. The replacement would be unexpected, as the person had not anticipated becoming king. It's worth noting that Nostradamus has made several predictions about the British royals that have proven accurate, including the anticipated death of Queen Elizabeth in 2022. Despite living centuries ago, Nostradamus foresaw the arrival of severe environmental shocks that would capture humanity's attention. Cooking fish. In one of his writings, he outlined a vision of immense destruction. He wrote, "When the sun scorches the head of the glittering sea, the living fish of the Black Sea will nearly cook. When Rhodes and Genoa, half-starved, will be, the local people will have to cut them to work." These cryptic verses paint a vivid picture of the catastrophic event, where the sun's intensity scorches the sea's surface. The cities of Rhodes and Genoa are described as being in a state of hunger and desperation, with locals having to turn to extreme measures to survive. Nostradamus' words seem to refer to the devastating impact of climate change on both the environment and human societies. It highlights the intensification of global warming, leading to rising sea temperatures and the subsequent disruption of marine ecosystems. The need to resort to extreme measures reflects the potential consequences of climate-related disruption on agriculture, food security, and societal stability. Although his writings are open to interpretation, living fish will nearly cook sounds quite straightforward.
Marshall McLuhan, a Canadian media theorist, introduced the concept of the global village in the 1960s, primarily in his influential works The Gutenberg Galaxy, 1962, and Understating Media in 1964. He argued that advances in electronic media would connect the world like a small village, allowing people to communicate instantly across vast distances. McLuhan proposed that new media technologies would blur the boundaries of time and space, enabling real-time communication and interaction between people worldwide. The global village concept suggests that media technologies not only connected individuals, but also transformed cultural dynamics. He believed this transformation would lead to a new form of consciousness and social organization, where traditional barriers of culture and identity would dissolve. McLuhan also noticed that while the global village would create opportunities for dialogue, it could also generate conflicts due to the diversity of opinions and perspectives. The internet's often seen as the realization of McLuhan's global village, facilitating the immediacy, simultaneity, and interconnectedness he foresaw.
Nostradamus' predictions spanned a wide range of topics, including an intriguing forecast about potential developments in human lifespan. According to some interpretations, he suggested that through scientific progress and the development of mechanical organs, human lifespan could be significantly extended, up to 150 to 170 years. As we continue to advance scientifically and technologically, it indeed seems possible that human lifespan could be extended through medical breakthroughs and innovative approaches to healthcare. The specific details and actual outcomes of these developments, however, remain to be seen. Indeed, advancements in technology and medicine are being made to extend human lifespan beyond 100 years. Analysts have pointed to the potential of genome sequencers, high-tech companies, and biotech firms to bring unprecedented improvements to the quality and length of human lives. They suggest that innovations in genomics, big data, and wearable technology could soon lead to healthy human lifespans well over 100 years. While some researchers believe there is a maximum threshold for human lifespan, others argue there is no ultimate limit.
Jean Dixon, a prominent American physicist, is best known for her prediction regarding the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. This 1965 prediction is often cited as one of her most striking claims. In Parade magazine, she predicted that a Democrat elected in 1960 would not complete his term, a statement that gained widespread attention after Kennedy's tragic death in 1963. In the days leading up to the assassination, Jean grew increasingly concerned about Kennedy's safety. On the morning of November 22, 1963, she reportedly told friends, "This is the day it will happen." Her predictions extended beyond Kennedy, and she gained recognition for various other forecasts. However, critics argue that her predictions were often vague or just incorrect, leading to what is now known as the Jean Dixon effect, a tendency for people to remember accurate predictions while ignoring the many incorrect ones.
Nostradamus also seemed to make predictions about the end of the world with unusual accuracy. In his writings, he stated, "The year 1999 7 month, from the sky will come a great king of terror. Noah will be revived, the great king of Angamois, before and after Mars to reign at will." Several people suggest that Nostradamus meant the king of terror referred to the Antichrist. Some argued that the term Angamois indicated an impending invasion of Europe from the east, possibly by Russians, Chinese, or descendants of Genghis Khan. The concern raised by Nostradamus' predictions was so alarming that Professor Alexander Tolman, a known Nostradamus expert, retreated into his bunker in Lower Austria in anticipation of a catastrophic event that never occurred. Despite the absence of such an event, there are still predictions based on Nostradamus' writings that point to a European apocalypse. The basis for this prediction comes from the following quote: "7 months the Great War, people dying through wrongdoing. Rouen Evreux shall not fall to the king." Some interpret this as an indication of an escalation of conflict in Ukraine leading to a Third World War. Our future holds a famine so terrible and violent that people turn to cannibalism. Nostradamus' predictions seem to address not only inflation, but also famine, presenting a terrifying connection between these two issues. In one line, he wrote, "So high will the bushel of wheat rise that man will eat his fellow man," indicating the severe consequences of exploding food prices and the possible societal unrest they could cause. Additionally, the mention of Rhodes and Genoa being half-starved implies severe food shortages, forcing desperate people to resort to extreme measures to survive. In the current context, many countries, such as the United States, are experiencing their highest inflation rates in 4 decades, so Nostradamus' warning gains additional significance. He alerts us to the potential for great upheaval and the possibility of people turning against each other in the most gruesome ways. Nostradamus remarkably foresaw celestial fire on the royal structure, which some interpret as the emergence of a new world order from the ashes of civilization. Followers of Nostradamus believe this could mean either the end of times or the start of a transformative global paradigm. Interpretations of this prediction vary, with enthusiasts suggesting a range of possibilities. Some believe it could refer to a meteorite hitting Buckingham Palace, while others speculate about a fire engulfing a royal residence. Although these events have not yet occurred, the increasing efforts in space exploration, with figures like Elon Musk making progress in colonizing Mars, suggest that the arrival of humans on the Red Planet and potential future disasters align with Nostradamus' prediction. How would you define celestial fire? Will it be an event, such as a burning asteroid rushing from space towards Earth, or is it something more symbolic?
The 1929 stock market crash was a turning point in American economic history, marking the beginning of the Great Depression. Two notable figures associated with predicting the crash were Roger Babson and N. Edgar Cayce. On September 5, 1929, businessman and financial analyst Roger Babson warned that people were borrowing more than ever and that a crash was inevitable. His statement triggered what became known as the Babson break, as the stock market experienced a significant drop that very day. Babson advised people to pay off debts and reduce their exposure to stocks, emphasizing caution. Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet, was a psychic who provided insights on health, spirituality, and future events. While Cayce did not predict the stock market crash as explicitly as Babson, he spoke in the late 1920s about economic instability. His readings often discussed financial cycles and urged individuals to be cautious with their investments.
This is what happens when humans play God. We create other beings in our image that are not made of flesh, and then they come to take over the world. In the full moonlight above the high mountain, the new sage with a lone brain sees it, invited by his disciples to become immortal. Eyes to the south, hands on chest, bodies in the fire. In one of Nostradamus' predictions, he describes a scene where the moon brightly shines over a high mountain at night. A new sage, possessing exceptional intelligence, witnesses this celestial phenomenon. Invited by his disciples to achieve immortality, he looks to the south, with their hands on their chests and their bodies consumed by fire. This prediction is relevant in the current era, as technology continues to advance at a rapid pace. It raises concerns about the rise of artificial intelligence and its potential implications. As AI systems become more sophisticated and gain consciousness, there is a warning that one of them could become self-aware and potentially take control of our interconnected systems. This enigmatic vision suggests a global uprising of technology, where AI transcends its intended boundaries and acquires consciousness or autonomy. This could lead to widespread disruption and pose significant challenges for humanity to navigate and overcome.
Thomas Edison and Elon Musk are two visionary figures in innovation, particularly in the development of electrical vehicles. Their contributions, separated by over a century, reflect their shared belief in the potential of electric tech. Edison, a pioneer in electric engineering, had a strong interest in electric vehicles at the beginning of the 20th century. He believed electric cars were superior to those with internal combustion engines. In 1914, he collaborated with Henry Ford to explore options for an affordable electric car and worked on developing better batteries for electric vehicles. His vision was far ahead of its time, as the widespread adoption of electric cars only began much later. Fast forward to the 21st century, Elon Musk has become synonymous with electric vehicles through his leadership at Tesla, which he joined in 2004. Musk's approach was not only about manufacturing electric cars, but also about building a brand that embodies innovation and sustainability. His influence has been instrumental in making electric vehicles mainstream, fulfilling Edison's early vision.
In his 16th century text Les Prophéties, Nostradamus made a prediction about a significant event in our history. Light falls on Mars. A possible interpretation of this prophecy is that humans have finally reached the milestone of setting foot on the Red Planet. Elon Musk had previously stated that space travel to Mars could be possible by 2029, and considered this crucial for the survival of humanity. He highlighted several external threats that could potentially lead to the end of human civilization, such as giant meteors, supervolcanoes, extreme climate change, or World War III. Interestingly, in July 2022, two California-based companies, Relativity Space and Impulse Space, announced their collaboration to launch the first commercial mission to Mars in 2024, earlier than SpaceX's planned launch. Whether it's Relativity Space, Impulse Space, or SpaceX that reaches Mars first, there's a sense of foreboding around Nostradamus' prediction. Followers of his prophecies believe that the mention of light falls on Mars could indicate possible explosions, potentially caused by spacecraft accidents during the mission.
H.G. Wells, a pioneering science fiction writer, is often credited with predicting the concept of the atomic bomb in his 1914 novel, The World Set Free. In this work, he envisioned a future in which atomic energy could be harnessed for explosive power, describing bombs capable of mass destruction. His ideas notably influenced real-world scientists, particularly physicist Leo Szilard, who read Wells' work and was inspired by it. Szilard later played a crucial role in the development of nuclear weapons as part of the Manhattan Project. Aware of the dangers of nuclear fission, he drew parallels between Wells' vision of atomic warfare and the potential consequences of nuclear energy in military applications. In The World Set Free, Wells depicted a world devastated by atomic wars, where cities would be annihilated in an instant. His novel explored the impact of nuclear weapons, and suggested that their horrors might lead to a global government to prevent future wars. Although Wells' fictional bombs differed from real nuclear weapons, his work laid the groundwork for ethical and existential discussions about atomic warfare.
The extension of human lifespan through scientific advancements was envisioned half a millennium ago. According to his predictions, he foresaw a future where the average person could become immortal. Nostradamus believed this remarkable increase in lifespan would be more possible by the development of mechanical organs. And despite what non-believers say, Nostradamus did have some medical experience. Before gaining fame as Nostradamus, he established himself as an apothecary during the Renaissance era, providing various folk remedies with varying degrees of success. Over time, he transitioned to medicine and became a physician. In the 16th century, aspiring doctors had to study a wide range of subjects, including astrology. While astrology is now considered a pseudoscience, at the time it held significance, because its adherents believed the celestial bodies, such as the stars and planets, influenced human affairs, including personal health. Consequently, the ability to calculate astrological charts and horoscopes was considered an essential tool for physicians in diagnosing and treating their patients.
Mark Twain, born Samuel Langhorne Clemens, had a fascinating connection with Halley's Comet, famously predicting that its return would coincide with his death. He was born on November 30th, 1835, shortly after the comet's appearance, and he strongly believed he would die when it returned. In 1909, Twain stated, "I came in with Halley's Comet in 1835. It's coming again next year, and I expect to go out with it." This prediction proved eerily accurate, as Twain died on April 21st, 1910, just one day after the comet reached its brightest point. His prophecy is not only remarkable for its precise timing, but also for the poetic nature of his words.
And who's better suited to bring about the end of the world than the Antichrist himself, according to Nostradamus? The Antichrist is often seen as a symbol of ultimate evil, and is supposed to play a significant role in the end times, or the final battle between good and evil. Nostradamus wrote about the Antichrist in his predictions. He also mentioned the rise of the Antichrist in a long war that would last 27 years. The concept of the Antichrist in Nostradamus' predictions refers to warmongers whose decisions cost the lives of innocent people, rather than a specific satanic figure opposed to Jesus Christ. Interpretations of Nostradamus' predictions about the rise of the Antichrist vary, and there's different perspectives on the subject. Some interpretations suggest that he predicted the arrival of a specific individual who would embody the Antichrist, while others propose a broader interpretation, suggesting that the Antichrist could represent a group, an ideology, or even a nation.
Dmitry Mendeleev, a Russian chemist, is celebrated for creating the periodic table of elements in 1869. His work was groundbreaking as it arranged elements by atomic weight and properties, allowing them to discover periodic trends and predict the existence of unknown elements. Mendeleev's periodic table was not just a catalog of elements. It also included gaps for elements that had yet to be discovered. He accurately predicted the properties of several elements, including gallium, which was discovered in 1875, for which he foresaw key characteristics. Scandium, discovered soon after, matching his predictions. Germanium, discovered in 1886, which fit perfectly into his table. And technetium, discovered in 1937, later filling one of his predicted gaps. His predictions were based on patterns he observed in the periodic table, where he noted that certain properties reappeared at regular intervals. What's your prediction for the future? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos we've made, click one on the screen or take a look at the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.